What's up guys, Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. So I'm on my free-to-play account. This is my main account. If you have not tuned into my channel, please consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss another video. Would really appreciate that. And if you don't decide to subscribe, just leave a like. That would really help me out. So in this video, we want to go over where I'm at in the Thor Fusion. I am going for the Fusion. Are you guys going for the Fusion? Let me know in the comments down below. He is a very strong PvE champion. I don't think he's going to be crazy in PvP, but if you're early or mid game, he can be utilized there. But right now, where are we at? So tomorrow, which will be Friday, and that'll be 9/13. I am recording at night on 9/12. I will be away. Well, tomorrow's Friday, so yeah. Either Friday or Saturday this video will come out. So yeah, I'll be away this weekend. I'm going to a wedding, so I may or may not have tons of videos uploaded for the weekend for you. So 246 Ancients saved, 58 Voids, 7 Primals, 28 Sacreds. We're looking really good in terms of stockpile for Shards, so we're not going to have a problem with Summon Rush, which does start on Friday in 6.5 hours or so. So 4 hours and 21 minutes Summon Rush starts. So with Summon Rush is different than Champ Chase. Champ Chase, you can get Voids, you can get Epics, you can get Legendaries and Mythicals, and depending on the rarity of champion that you get points based on the rarity. The higher the rarity champion, the more points you get. Void Epics give you 350, non-Void Epics give you 250, Legendaries give you 500, so on and so forth. So just be mindful of that. Now, in terms of Dungeon Divers, I'm very close. I'm almost done. I did have to spend a bunch of gems. I hate Dungeon Divers with a passion. I'll be honest, that's where a lot of people will fail these days, but you can skip out on a Dungeon Divers. Luckily, they do give us a little bit of extra of these fragments that we can obtain, so that's helpful, especially when we're trying to go for the Mother mod as well, if you're trying to save fragments to pull a couple of chests later on down the road. But if you decided not to go for Thor and you decided to get a bunch of Deannas, you could just feed them all into chests for High Mother mod. So she is a very strong free-to-play champion. I don't have her anytime soon. I won't have her as well, so it is what it is. I probably won't get her for at least another 6 months, maybe 12 months or longer. So yeah, so that is what it is. Now, in terms of tournaments, Fire Night is going on. You do want to farm stage 20 if you want to get the most bang for your buck in terms of energy. So Fire Night 20, you're going to spend the least amount of resources and you're going to fly through it very quickly and get the points that you need for Fire Night. I would recommend doing stage 20 of Fire Night if you're just trying to go through it quickly and save energy and gems for resources. But if you don't care like me, then you can do stage 6 of Hard Fire Night or whatever stage, the highest stage you could possibly do on Hard Fire Night to potentially get your hands on mythical artifacts. Right now, they do have a 2x chance to get regen gear for or from the Fire Night. So that's very, very helpful. Now, I will get the Fire Night complete, no problem. I'm not going to try to spend a ton of gems. I don't really care too much about the 4-star chicken, but more than likely I'm going to end up getting it. So that's not too bad. Odin's Trial is going on. I didn't farm this whatsoever. I'm sure tons of people did. Yeah. And there is goals on, in terms of tournaments. You can get a Primal Shard. You can get Primal Quartz. These are great rewards if you're top 10. But I don't know. I just didn't really feel like farming at all for this because I'm focusing on Thor. And I'm sure they're going to have a ton of Odin Trial tournaments going on over the next 6 weeks that Odin is open. I think it's for 6 weeks. No, 5 weeks and 6 days. Yeah, so basically 6 weeks left. And then in terms of other tournaments, we've got the Soul Chase still going on for 5 hours. Of course, by the time you watch this video, it'll be over. But I got to 27-24. First time ever maxing a Soul Chase as a free-to-play player. That was really exciting. And we did get somewhat lucky on some nice souls. So definitely check that video out if you'd like. Only a couple of videos back, and while you're at it, just leave a like on that video too. That'd be super helpful. And in terms of events, Dungeon Divers, again, I already went over that. Summon Rush and then Artifact Enhancement also starts, but in 5 hours and 17 minutes instead of 4 hours and 17 minutes, which I think is kind of strange, but I guess it's whatever. And then I will be pulling probably I guess it depends. I don't think there's a 2x on any shards this weekend, sadly. So I want to save my sacreds if possible, but sacreds give you the most points for summon rush. For summon rush, sacreds give you 500 points a pull. So if you want to get your summon rush complete quickly, then you just want to pull, say, normally it's like 3,000 points. Sometimes it's 4,500 points if they want to get crazy with it. So I would recommend going at least, you're going to need at least 6 sacreds, or you're going to need a ton of ancients and a ton of voids. I mean, I might even consider just pulling voids, but I prefer not to. I'd like to stockpile those for 2x or guaranteed events now. Ancients, I would recommend ancients. Mystery shards as well, of course. If you want to try to get carpal tunnel, you can do that. I wish they could make this a little bit easier for you instead of doing that, but that's the name of the game, right? So they want you to be able to pull these shards here, but mystery shards, don't forget about them. I could consider doing it, but I just don't have the time to, so because I'm going to be busy during this weekend. So for me, mystery shards probably not going to be a thing. I'll more than likely just pull a few sacreds and some ancients, maybe even pull my primals, potentially get a mythical champion. Who knows? Maybe we get really lucky. And then other than that, not too much going on. I've been kind of just focusing on upgrading champions. I love the new tavern improvements. I love that you can see a row of 4 champions now here. It's pretty awesome. A big shout out to Playam for doing that. And it just makes people with tons of champions easier, makes things easier just to scroll through and find champs as well. So I do really, really appreciate that. I also would love for them to increase the capacity of champions you can get, capacity of artifacts and accessories, since they continuously bring more artifacts and accessories to the table. So I think that's it for right now. Thor, we will be going for him and getting him. Probably no problem at all, unless I have an issue this weekend during the events or tournaments for Thor. I don't think we're going to have too many issues, but you never know. You could always fall asleep and then make a mistake that way. And one other thing to go over would be where you could potentially find shards for this summon rush, because I know a lot of players, if you're new or if you just pull your shards like crazy because you don't like to hold and hoard them like a lot of free-to-play players like myself do, then you could go different areas. If you're still early or mid-game, you could potentially get them from just doing your regular farming on a day-to-day basis. You can get ancient shards from completing your weekly quests. You can get the sacred and the void shard from completing monthly quests. And then, of course, you can get chickens here as well for the champ training events. You can get books for CVC. Of course, it takes every 27.5 days to get this, but you can get additional rewards. I know people constantly decide just not to do the dailies and monthlies at times. You know, it just depends on the person, but you definitely need to farm daily your daily quests and missions as well. Focus on your missions. If you're still on Arbiter or Amantu missions, you're going to get shards in between here. If you're still on Faction War missions, you're going to get shards in between. Remember to farm Faction Wars. And if you're between 665 and 756, you could potentially get a Sacred Shard. And then Void Shards between 760 and 840. More Voids, chickens as well. And yeah, so plenty of shards in between here that you can obtain. And then you can also obtain shards from Doom Tower. You get 2 or 3 sacreds from Hard Doom Tower. I think it's 2, and 3 voids. And then you can also get another 2 to 3 voids from the normal Doom Tower. So if you are farming consistently, you'll get a decent amount, not a crazy amount, but a decent amount of potential shards, or in general, this is where you can get shards if you're lacking some. And then, of course, you want to farm Demon Lord every single solitary day. You should never skip this. You should always be farming Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare. If you can't do Ultra Nightmare yet, then you should be farming Brutal and Nightmare and Hard as often as possible. So that way you can at least get the drops of potentially an Ancient, potentially a Void Shard on every single one. Okay, so that's where you're going to be looking for most of your shards. And Ultra Nightmare is going to get you the best bang for your buck in terms of shards. So if you can do it, focus on your Ultra Nightmare clan boss team. So other than that, Siege, not a huge fan. Let's just move on from that. The Cursed City, you don't get shards from here, but you do get pretty much everything else. Energy, which could help you farm dungeons. In dungeons, you have a 1% chance, I believe, to get a ancient shard. So when you're farming dungeons, you're just going to naturally get ancient shards stockpiled. So tons of different areas that you can get shards. So keep in mind all those different areas as you are farming and progressing throughout the game. And that's how you could potentially have shards on hand, or potentially on hand, for the summon rush. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.